If someone had told me that at 87 years old I'd spend 2 months in a nursing home, I would have laughed. Not because I thought I was invincible, but because I had always believed I had more time before reaching that stage of life. I had imagined growing old in the comfort of my home, surrounded by familiar things, not in a place filled with strangers and the slow ticking of time. But life has a way of humbling us, of teaching us lessons we never signed up for, at moments we least expect. I went in thinking it was temporary, a short stay to regain my strength, to get back on my feet. Just a few weeks, I told myself, but those weeks stretched into months, and in that time, something changed in me. I began to see life differently. The walls of that place, though confining, had stories etched into them, stories of love and loss, joy and sorrow, acceptance and regret. I met people who had been there for years, some holding on to hope, others simply waiting for time to pass. Some had families who visited faithfully, their eyes lighting up at the sight of loved ones. Others sat alone day after day, their memories the only company they had left. Some had lived fully, embracing each moment with gratitude, while others carried the heavy burden of regret, wishing they could rewrite the past. And in those long, quiet nights, when the world outside felt so far away, I listened, I reflected, and I learned. I learned 7 lessons that I wish I had known earlier, lessons that I believe every person, young or old, needs to hear. Because no matter how far away old age may seem to you now, one day it will arrive. And when that time comes, the question won't be how many years you lived, but how well you lived them. Lesson 1. Loneliness is the greatest disease. You might think that a nursing home is just about medical care, food, and shelter. That was my assumption too. I thought that as long as you had a roof over your head, 3 meals a day, and a team of nurses checking in on you, things would be fine. But I was wrong. Because the biggest struggle in old age isn't physical. It's emotional. It's loneliness. I met people who hadn't had a visitor in months, even years. Their children were too busy, caught up in their own lives. Their friends had either passed away or drifted apart. The nurses and staff did their best, but no matter how kind they were, they couldn't replace the warmth of family, the comfort of familiar voices, the laughter of old friends. I remember one woman, Margaret. She was 92, sharp-minded and full of stories, but no one came to hear them. She had children, grandchildren, even great-grandchildren, but they rarely visited. She would sit by the window every Sunday hoping that maybe this week someone would remember her. Most weeks, no one did. It was in moments like these that I realized something heartbreaking. The hardest part of growing old isn't the aching joints, the slower steps, or even the failing memory. It's the realization that the world moves on without you, that life outside continues at full speed while you're left behind in the quiet. And as I sat there watching these people carry the weight of loneliness, I asked myself, did I do enough to nurture my own relationships? Had I prioritized work over friendships, money over time with loved ones? The truth is, I did. And now I wish I had done things differently. If I could go back, I would call my friends more. I would visit my family without waiting for an occasion. I would build stronger bonds, not just in passing, but with intention. Because in the end, the depth of our relationships is what truly matters. Loneliness is the heaviest burden of old age, and the only way to prevent it is to start investing in people today. Lesson 2. Health is more valuable than wealth. I met a man during my stay, a man who once had everything society tells us to chase. He had built a business empire from the ground up, owned multiple properties, drove luxury cars, and traveled to places most people only dream of. He had spent his life accumulating wealth, securing his financial future, making sure he never had to worry about money. But now in this place, none of it mattered. His body had betrayed him. His hands, once steady enough to sign million-dollar contracts, now trembled as he tried to hold a spoon. He could no longer walk on his own, and even the simplest tasks, getting dressed, eating, turning over in bed, required assistance. I remember him telling me, with a bitter smile, I spent my youth making money, thinking it would buy me freedom. But what's the use of freedom if you don't have the strength to enjoy it? His wealth could afford him the best care, but it couldn't give him back his independence. It couldn't erase the years of stress, the sleepless nights, the neglect he showed his own body in the pursuit of success. And as I watched him struggle, I saw a reflection of myself. I too had spent years focusing on things I thought mattered: work, financial security, achievements, while taking my health for granted. I didn't think much about what I ate. I skipped exercise, telling myself I'd do it tomorrow. I let stress consume me because I believed it was just part of life. But now I see the truth. Tomorrow always comes faster than we think, and the body keeps a record of every choice we make. If I could go back, I would take better care of myself. I would move more, eat better, and stress less. Because the harsh reality is, no matter how much money you have, you cannot buy back your health. And when the body starts to fail, all the riches in the world won't bring back the simple joys: walking freely, eating without struggle, living without pain. So if you're young and healthy, cherish it. Protect it. Take care of yourself now, because the way you treat your body today will determine the life you live tomorrow. Lesson 3. Material things lose their meaning. I once had a house filled with things: beautiful furniture, closets overflowing with clothes, shelves lined with decorations and souvenirs from my travels. Every object had been carefully chosen, purchased with pride, and arranged just the way I liked. I spent years collecting, organizing, and upgrading, believing that these things were a reflection of my success, my personality, my life. But now I live in a single room with just a few belongings. A handful of clothes, a few framed photos, a book or two. And you know what? I don't miss any of it. The expensive furniture, the designer clothes, the countless decorations I once treasured, all of it is gone. Sold, given away, or collecting dust in someone else's home. And I don't feel any loss, because in the end, none of it truly mattered. When you reach old age, you begin to see how little value material things actually hold. The things we once obsessed over, saved up for, and worked so hard to buy eventually become meaningless. No one lies on their deathbed wishing they had owned a bigger house or a fancier car. They wish for more time, more love, more memories. I've seen it firsthand. People clinging to photographs, old letters, and memories, not possessions. I've met those who regret spending their best years chasing material wealth instead of moments with their loved ones. And I've learned that the true treasures of life are not things, but experiences. The laughter shared over dinner, the spontaneous road trips, the nights spent talking until sunrise. If I could go back, I wouldn't spend so much time acquiring things. Instead, I would invest in experiences. I would take more walks with my loved ones, spend more time talking to friends, and create memories that would stay with me long after possessions faded away. Because at the end of the day, your life will not be measured by what you owned, but by the love you gave, the moments you cherished, and the people who remember you. Lesson 4. Independence is precious. Imagine spending your whole life making your own choices, deciding what to eat, when to go out, how to spend your day. Imagine the freedom of moving your body without effort, of handling your own affairs, of being in control of your life. Now imagine waking up one day and realizing that all of that is gone. Suddenly, you have to ask for help with the simplest things: getting dressed, using the bathroom, eating a meal. You can no longer go where you want without someone assisting you. Decisions about your life are made by others, not you. That is the reality of many people here. I have seen the frustration in their eyes, the silent grief of losing something they never thought they'd have to live without: their independence. Some of them were once strong, capable, and full of life. Now they wait for someone to push their wheelchair, feed them, or remind them to take their medication. The most heartbreaking part? Their minds are still sharp, but their bodies refuse to obey them. I never truly appreciated how precious independence was until I saw what life is like without it. If you can still walk without pain, if you can get out of bed on your own, if you can make your own choices, cherish it. Don't take it for granted, because the day you lose your independence, you will realize it was one of the greatest gifts life ever gave you. If I could go back, I would do everything in my power to keep my body strong and my mind sharp for as long as possible. I would exercise more, challenge my brain, and take better care of myself, not just to live longer, but to live independently. Because freedom isn't just about money or success. It's about being able to move, decide, and live on your own terms. Hold on to your independence while you have it. One day you'll understand just how valuable it truly was. Lesson 5. True happiness comes from simple things. There was a woman here, 85 years old, who always had a smile on her face. No matter the day, no matter the circumstances, she radiated warmth. While others around her spoke of their struggles, she found reasons to laugh. While many focused on what they had lost, she seemed content with what remained. One day, curiosity got the best of me, and I asked her, "What's your secret to happiness?" She chuckled softly and said, "I don't think about what I lost. I enjoy what I still have." Her words stayed with me. In a place where so many were consumed by regret or sadness, she had found peace, not in wealth, not in achievements, but in simple, everyday moments. That's when I realized true happiness isn't in the big things we chase all our lives. It's not in expensive vacations, fancy houses, or career milestones. It's in the little moments we often overlook. It's in the warmth of the morning sun on your face. It's in the comfort of a hot cup of tea on a rainy day. It's in a conversation that makes you laugh until your stomach hurts. It's in the sound of birds chirping outside your window. It's in holding someone's hand, feeling their presence without saying a word. So many of us spend our lives running after happiness, believing it's something we need to find. Something just out of reach, always tied to the next achievement, the next purchase, the next milestone. But happiness isn't waiting for us in the future. It's already here, in the small joys of everyday life. If I could go back, I would stop chasing happiness as if it were a destination. Instead, I would slow down, pay attention, and appreciate the simple things that were always right in front of me. Because in the end, when everything else fades away, these are the moments that truly matter. Lesson 6. Forgiveness brings peace. As I spent my days in the nursing home, I saw many people carrying the weight of old grudges, resentments toward their children, past friends, even their late spouses. Some of them held on to bitterness for decades, unwilling to let go of the pain that had shaped them. And as I watched, I realized something heartbreaking. The people who clung to anger were the ones suffering the most. Their enemies had long moved on. The people they resented were living their lives, unaware or perhaps indifferent to the wounds that still festered. But those who refused to forgive, they were the ones trapped in their own pain, reliving old hurts over and over like a song stuck on repeat. One woman confided in me, her voice trembling with regret. "I wish I had forgiven my sister when she was still alive. Now it's too late." Her words hit me like a wave. I could see the sorrow in her eyes, the years of carrying something that could have been put down long ago. And at that moment, I understood something I wish I had learned sooner. A heavy heart only burdens the one who carries it. I thought about my own past, about the people who had wronged me, the ones I had sworn I would never forgive. And then I asked myself, was my anger serving me? Was it making my life any better? Or was it just another weight I was carrying for no reason? That day I made a choice. I forgave, not because the people who hurt me deserved it, but because I deserved peace. I let go of the pain, the harsh words that could never be taken back, the regrets that could never be undone. And suddenly I felt free, lighter, as if I had been carrying stones in my heart for decades, and at last I had set them down. Now, I share this lesson with you. If there is someone in your life you need to forgive, do it now. Not for them, but for you. Don't wait until it's too late. Don't let pride or anger steal your peace. Because when the final chapter of your life comes, you don't want your last thought to be, "I wish I had let go sooner." At the end of it all, peace is worth more than pride. And forgiveness? It's the key to setting yourself free. Lesson 7. Every day is a gift. Don't waste it. One morning in the nursing home, I woke up to hear that a resident had passed away in his sleep the night before. Just hours earlier, he had been sitting with us at dinner, laughing as he shared stories of his childhood, reminiscing about the adventures of his youth. He had gone to bed like any other night, expecting another tomorrow. But tomorrow never came. In that moment, something inside me shifted. I realized life is fragile. We move through our days as if we have endless time, as if there will always be another chance, another tomorrow. But the truth is, no matter how healthy, how strong, how careful we are, nothing is promised. And yet we waste so much of this precious gift we call life. We waste time on things that don't matter, on worries that never happen, on regrets we cannot change. We hold on to grudges that only steal our peace. We postpone joy, waiting for the right time to do the things that truly make us happy. We tell ourselves, one day I'll take that trip. One day I'll say what I need to say. One day I'll follow my heart. But one day never comes, until suddenly it's too late. That morning, as I sat in silence, I made a decision. I will not waste another day. I will not wait for someday to start living. I will not take the people I love for granted. I will not let fear stop me from chasing what sets my soul on fire. Because the biggest lesson I learned, live while you still can. Don't wait for the perfect time to enjoy life. It doesn't exist. The perfect time is right now. Tell the people you love how much they mean to you. Make memories, not excuses. Appreciate every sunrise as if it's your last. Laugh every chance you get, because when your time comes, you won't regret the things you did. You'll only regret the moments you let slip away. 2 months in a nursing home may not seem like much, but it was enough to change me. Enough to make me see that life is not measured in years, but in moments. And the quality of those moments is shaped by the choices we make every single day. I met people who had no regrets, who had lived well, loved deeply, and were at peace. I also met those who wished they had done things differently, who wished they had been braver, kinder, more present. And that's when I understood. Aging is not about how many years you have left, but how you spend the ones you do. I no longer fear growing old, but I do fear wasting time. If you're watching this, no matter your age, remember this. Don't wait until it's too late to value your health, your relationships, and your sense of purpose. Because one day, when you're sitting in a room with nothing but memories, you'll wish you had made more of them. Life is short. Live with meaning, love without hesitation, and most of all, never take a single day for granted. I'd love to hear your thoughts. What lesson resonated with you the most? Have you ever had an experience that changed the way you see life? Share your insights in the comments below. Let's start a conversation and learn from each other. And if this message touched you in any way, consider sharing it with someone who might need to hear it. Life is short. Let's make every moment count.